Here is the Hoosier 11 by 6-6. It's 11 inches in diameter, 6 inches in width. This cross section here, and it's for a 6-inch diameter wheel or rim. It's a 6-inch rim, and this is in the D10A compound, so it's a soft compound. The tread starts and ends right under 7 inches. The diameter of the wheel is 10.5 inches. Let's look at the sidewall. Yep, the sidewall is soft, a lot softer than the D30A compound I've had from Hoosier. And actually, I do have a Hoosier here next to me. It's an R50 compound, which is a lot harder. This is the bigger slick, but it's really hard in the sidewalls here. What I've noticed from riding these is the softer sidewalls tend to ride a lot smoother. And normally when you get a softer compound, you also get a softer sidewall. It's not always true with every manufacturer and tire, but generally that's what I've experienced. I really like this tire. This tire is awesome. It actually, the amount of roundness and carb that it has is a lot. It's very similar to my Burris 5.5. They feel pretty close, if not equal. But the slick is smoother on pavement. It's quiet as heck. It's definitely more quiet than my treaded Burris, and it feels really nice. And the D10A compound so far feels nice too. It's not as stiff like the D30A compound when I rode the treaded Hoosier. I really enjoy riding this. It's a really good tire. Sketchy. Oh, I slid a little bit there. Yeah. So I forgot that it rained, and rain turns dirt into mud. It wasn't obvious because it's packed pretty tight, but I went in there, and yeah, that's my trail back there. I kind of slid. I didn't fall, but definitely I slid and I fishtailed a little bit there. So, I didn't notice that part. I was just looking at all right, anyways, let's get back to riding. Sorry, Michael. So I like it. It's a good tire. It carves really well. I don't know if I trust it so much on the dirt and the mud and stuff. It's just not a treaded tire, right? It's a slick. So I mean, that's kind of given if you know a little bit about tires, I guess. So, but yeah, it's meant to be really good on these good grippy pavement, and it does that job. It does it well. It's smooth, and also the compound is a lot softer than the D30A treaded Hoosier that I tried, the 5.5. Let me see, the 5.5 11 by anyways, it's a lot better than the D30A compound that I tried with the treaded 5.5 tire, the Hoosier tire. It makes a difference. The sidewall is flexes a little bit more, absorbs a lot more of the shock, and it doesn't go to your knees as much. Like I notice when I ride a lot, my knees start to ache a little bit, and the harder tire, I definitely notice it a lot quicker. There's like a lot more shock on my knees. The softer one, yeah, a lot better, much better, smoother ride. So you know, if you're looking for a smoother ride, I recommend. It's not always true, but you get the softer compound, a lot of the times the sidewall is also going to be softer. It's going to flex a little bit more. It's not always true though. It just depends on the tire and the manufacturer. But in this case, it is true with this tire. All right. So here's the deal with the 7.1/11.0-6 tire. It's R50. It's really hard. It's very flat, and for me to even be able to get it to carve, I tried it at 18 psi, and I was leaning so hard and it could barely even turn. Like I have to swivel it, you know, slide side to side. You can't really lean and turn. Then I pumped it up to like 23 and I still couldn't do it. And then around 30 psi I could kind of do it, and then at 40 psi it started to carve almost like a Vega. The Vega still carved better, but but what happens is I want to pump it up higher to see if I can actually get the carve at least like a Vega. But the problem is it's starting to touch the pads, and well, actually I brought it back down already. It's back at 30 psi now, and because there's a little space there and all the pebbles and rocks this thing picked up, they just go into that little gap there, and they start grinding and chunking away at your foot pad and the plastic casings and everything. So I don't want to ride like that. I don't want to damage my board. But that's what's going on there. Here's the clearance. See if you want to see what that looks like. On the sides, fine. On the top, it's narrow. And by the way, this is at about 30 psi right now. I had to lower it down because I don't want to damage my board. But yeah, so that's the deal with that. So this is at 30 psi. This is how much carbon I can make. Kind of scary to ride, actually. It literally feels like I'm riding on a cinder block. Ooh. the heck? There's like firecrackers running over the things, like little berries or something. All right. Oh look, I'm gonna stop and I don't even have to balance. I lied, I have to balance. Okay. But it's close to not balancing. Actually, you know what I want to test? Let's see how it bonks. So if you thought that the Vega carved too much for you, this is the tire that you would get. If you thought that the Vega was not stable enough, this is the tire that you would get. If they had created tires during the caveman times, like the Flintstones, that's the tire they would ride. So it's pretty extreme. I'd say out of the 7 or 8 tires that I've tried now, this one is definitely the worst. If you have beast rails and you can pump it up a lot higher, like maybe to 50 psi, it might start to ride something like a Vega. But that's my opinion on it.